Welcome back to another Purpose Served podcast. I'm your host, Darrell Wingfield. We back at it with another one. Sitting here chilling. I promised you guys Mother's Day podcast episode, and today we have it. Today we have it. Now, this one is going to be obviously dedicated to my mom, but it's going to be along the way a couple of shout outs that and appreciation and love that I'm gonna have to throw out there along the way. Now, if you guys been following along the journey, you guys very well know who my mom is. She's already been featured on two of the podcast episodes. Super Trooper Mom John and Emotional Intelligence. That's crazy. I don't even know what my own podcast episodes are, but we 50 plus. But all the time I talk about on this platform of how much I gave my mom a hard freaking time, yo. Seriously. Now, my mom, I was the firstborn. My mom had me when she was 22 years old. At the age of 22, what was she doing? I believe she was working at the airport in North. I'm almost certain she was working at the airport around this time in North. And where my mom is today, going all the way back when to where she was, it God has 100% been on her side. She has a story for the ages, and she overcame adversities that I can't even, me personally, I can't even wrap my head around. You know what I mean? And I literally tell her, a lot, how much of an anomaly that she is, you know what I mean? And it's very, very uncommon for somebody that was brought up in her predicament to be successful and to make it out of where she did, you know what I mean? My mom didn't have a place to stay as a freaking teenager, 15, 16, 17 years old. She had to fend for herself at a really early age, you know what I mean, and really be out there. And we talking about growing up in Newark, New Jersey, you know what I mean, and it's not the easiest place to grow up, man. It's definitely not the easiest place to grow up. So if you can make it there, man, you can make it anywhere. And me being, a kid, young, like just just saying, telling it from my perspective, I didn't understand what my mom was trying to do. I didn't understand what she was going through, how stressful the situation was, and also, what it's like being a single mom raising two boys. You know what I mean? She eventually had my other brother Devonte at the age of 24. You know, and around that time, like I would want to say, I can't say a couple months to a year, 2 years. My mom and dad had split apart. After that, and she was really on her own. And throughout the years, we all three we struggled together. Me, my mom, and my brother. You know, when you're growing up, you don't really understand what's going on, which you don't know what's really going on. So you don't really question much. I can't say that because for me, in my perspective as a kid, and my brother too, we was weirdly well aware of what was going on around us. And I've been really aware of what was going on around me personally since I was like, I want to say like 4 years old. But going back to the topic at hand, my mom was really trying to make something work, and it was through us that she was trying to make something work where her main priority is making sure that we were good and that we were going to be set up, in the long run. That was like her primary focus, and to that, she would work a lot. She would do whatever that she had to do. And, there were times when, I can't imagine having two boys like, 2 and 4 years old, and you're like 26, 27, and your bank account's overdrafted, your kids gotta eat, um, you gotta make sure the rent is paid, and all of these things, like, that's real stressful. And there were points where um, we were staying over other people's houses. You know what I mean? Because my mom's situation wasn't all too great. We'll be house hopping, and I remember there was a stretch when I was in the third grade where we was seriously, seriously house hopping. From shout out to Celeste. She welcomed us to her house. Pat, Miss Tracy. Um, who else I can remember off of this list? Um, my grandma. Rest in peace to my grandma, my dad's mom. Um, Also to her as well. She opened the doors to my mom too. And even with that, that was a 1 bedroom apartment. Not a lot of furniture in it. Literally, I say this: it was two mattresses and a little table with like four chairs in like the kitchen area, and in a 1 bedroom we had a futon where me, my brother, and my mom slept. And this went on for a decent amount for a couple of months. But around this time, this is when our lives like really started to seriously change due to my mom's actions and her mind state. And around this time, my mom had applied for the state police. And even before that point, just to even backtrack, my mom joined the National Guard. You know what I mean? So she was always about, doing her civil duties. I'm not down for that, to be quite honest, but I commend her for doing something that I know I can't do. Shit, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. Actually, excuse my language. I'm sorry, mom, if you heard that. That was by accident. But yeah, when fast forward past the National Guard and stuff like that, which my mom met mad cool people. She just had a birthday the party, even though her birthday's like in February. Like, was this last Friday? This had to be last Friday. So last Friday she had her birthday party for her 50th. You know what I mean? My mom turned 50 this year, man. If only I had a button to do the little applause joint, that'd be lit. But yeah, she had her 50th birthday party last week, and it was lit, man. It was real lit. I'm not even gonna lie, but the turnout was amazing, and it was really cool from an outside perspective to see the impact that my mom had in other people's lives. And that's something that I'm going to deep dive get into soon. But just to give you guys a background of the journey that has been to get to that point. But I know I'm all over the place, but I felt the love at that party. I felt the genuine appreciation for those people that was, in that room. It was a decent amount of people, probably like 120 plus to be quite honest. I don't know, but my mom seriously impacted every last one of those people in that room. But not only that, those people had a significant impact on my mom's life as well. Like, so you felt a strong sense of, you know, love and appreciation in the building. You know, and to me, man, that stuff is infectious, man, and that's something that inspires me personally to hopefully leave an impact. You know, as significant as that, like my mom is one of my biggest motivators, if not the biggest motivators that I have in my life, and that wasn't always the case. It really wasn't always the case. I know for most of y'all out there with the relationships that that you have with your moms and parents in general, it can be rocky, and I can see this for a fact. Me and my mom's relationship, it's been it's been really rocky. Not as of recently, within like the last like 3 or 4 years, like everything's been mad cool. But before that point, when Daryl was being freaking Daryl, man, oh man, like I gave that woman a hard time. I talk about it a decent amount on this podcast and some of the episodes, and she'll even tell you firsthand how much of a menace I was. And my mom used to do things like this. I would get in trouble in school. I would get suspended, get kicked out of school, have temper tantrums in school, get into fights, get suspended, um, disrupt the class, the whole nine, right? And after a while, you know, when the belt when the belt was like the number one go to, like once you get in trouble, man, you get that ass whooped on. My mom started figuring out that wasn't working. So what she was starting to do was engage my creativity. She would engage the things I would like to do. She would engage my hobby. So for example, I remember this one time. Um, my mom knew I was like a huge fan of Michael Jackson. I was a huge fan of Michael Jackson, and I remember when I was like in the first or second grade, maybe even the third, she got me one of Michael Jackson's CDs, the freaking, I don't know, I forgot what the album was called, the one with the freaking with the numbers in the back. I don't know, I don't remember what the freaking numbers was, but what songs is on there? What songs is on that album? I can't remember. I'm drawing blanks. Um, but yeah, it was a number. It was a number album. You know what I mean? And he's standing mad fierce. You know what I mean, with the light bulbs in back of him, and in the form of the numbers. But what I was about to say. Okay, back to the story at hand. So I got the album or whatever, and my mom. The only reason why she got this album was is one of those things to make sure I stayed out of trouble, to keep me engaged somehow to something that was outside of school, because when I wasn't in school, I wasn't really a problem. I did my own thing. I really didn't even say much. I've been always to myself kind of a person ever since I was a kid, like the earliest that I can remember. But I would get to school and literally turn into a monster. But she would do things like that, and I used to draw a lot. I'm an artist, not not currently. I can still draw here and there, but I used to love drawing Dragon Ball Z stuff, Naruto stuff, and even characters and stuff that I created in my own head, like make comic books and all of that. And she'd give me sketchbooks, she'd give me coloring pencils, she'd give me markers, all of these things to help me engage with that side of myself that was more productive than rather than destructive. Um, and this personally, I didn't see the effects of it like growing up, but it definitely did help me in the long run. And also, she did the same thing when it came to me with drumming. Same thing with my other brother. The same exact thing, man. My mom, before where she's at now, you know what I mean. She's like absolutely killing it and doing her thing. But we would go to places like Chuck E. Cheese. When she didn't have it like that, when we didn't have it like that, and we would play on the arcade games in a default mode due to the fact that we ain't have no coins, no tokens to play the game. So we would play it on its natural setting without having to really be able to play the game. Also, me and my brother would go there and terrorize Chucky. You know what I mean? He'll come out the cut, and you know what I mean. We'll try to beat the brakes off of him. You know what I'm saying? But this would definitely embarrass the hell out of my mom. Sometimes taking us to places because we definitely would act a fool here and there. To be quite honest, we definitely did that. When she graduated the police academy. Well, not the day, but we didn't go to the day of her graduation. But I think we went to like the orientation ceremony, John, for the troopers that made it, and we acted a fool even there. Shout out to my auntie Tracy, man, who also popped out for the party. My mom's twin sister. She the one who took us there. You know what I mean? But we embarrassed her too. But eventually these things started developing me where I started to get really good at drawing, which is something that my mom was really, really good at drawing, and that got passed down to her. Happy Mother's Day to my grandmother as well. Love you to death. But my grandmother used to draw too really well, and my mom picked that up, and that was something that I picked up as well, which is one of my mom pretty cool talents. You know, I'm starting to take after my mom so ridiculously. It's starting to, I can't say it's starting to scare me, but it leaves me in awe sometimes. You know what I mean? How, I don't know. It's a destiny. It's destiny and choices. You feel me? And I feel as though most people' destinies are laid out exclusively because of the choices that they make, and also sometimes overwhelmingly the generation that came before them. You know what I mean? Generational wealth, generational curse can get passed down through genetics, spirituality, and your environment and what you see and what's around you. That's like that shit is real, you know. And you can pick up on traits from your parents or your parents' parents that they didn't teach you, but it was already in you already. You know what I mean? Like already it was inside of you. And for me, drawing was the case with that. Also, later on down the line, me doing what I'm literally doing right now is something that my mom has been engaging with for high key. This is probably a stretch, but like 9 years, 10 years. You know, where my mom has been, you know, speaking, doing speaking engagements, talking to others, trying to inspire others, and it's crazy. It used to be mad cool after my mom became a state trooper, and even before I get to that point, my mom was struggling in the academy. If you guys go back and look at the Super Trooper Mom podcast episode, she'll go into that in, you know, in some extreme detail about how difficult that process was for her, in a divine intervention by God that led her through that. You know what I mean? With my mom didn't not knowing how to swim, and that's a requirement in order to be a state trooper. Um, Around his time, we started living with our dad. Shout out to my pops. Of This is when I was in the third grade. So while my mom was in the academy, we would be with my dad Monday through Friday, and she'd pick us up on the weekends. And this went on for probably like half a year. I would want to say definitely half a year. And my mom was struggling around that time. She was really struggling. Even after the fact, there was some struggles. Yeah, this is random. Just had some technical difficulties, but I forgot where I last left off at, to be quite honest. But um, my mom was she was headstrong about getting through the academy because of me and my brother, and providing a way for me and my brother. And To be quite honest, me and Devonte always knew, weirdly enough, um, my mom did pretty much any and everything for us. Birthdays and all of that. We didn't celebrate Christmas. We didn't celebrate Halloween. Due to what's his face, religious beliefs and stuff like that. So going to school in those days, like on Halloween, or coming back from winter break, and kids asking what you get for Christmas, and it's like, yo, I don't celebrate Christmas. It's like, what? You're weird. Why? I don't know. I never felt ashamed for that kind of stuff. I don't think my brother did either. To be quite honest, but after my mom graduated the academy, it was really dope. For days like when it's career day at school and your parents get to come in, man, and being growing up in Newark, the question that she would get all the time is, "Have you ever shot anybody?" You know what I'm saying? That was like the main question. And my mom, I don't think she ever shot anybody. She got in a lot of hostile situations, and it's mad cool. My mom has been in. I see my mom on a billboard. I see my mom in ads, state police ads. I seen her in newspapers. So it's like it's real cool. Like, you know what I mean? That my mom has like a heroess, like, type vibe to her, and that's the kind of figure she unintentionally was going down. Even even for us, my brother's sake, and including shout out to Chris, man. Shout out to Briss, my other little brother, man. But I can see that even with him, he's very, very inspired by my mom and what he do, and my mom has inspired him so much. It's like pretty cool to see that out of my brother's, like, he's gonna take the route of high key least resistance. Like me and my brother Devonte, we definitely, instead of going with the stream, we was traveling up the stream. Being as resistant as possible. And me being the firstborn, you best believe. You know what I'm saying? You best believe I was being real resistant. But um, my mom has did so many amazing things. Like we would growing up, we would be in East Orange. We'll be giving back to the homeless, feeding the homeless. We'll be on Urban Turner Boulevard in Newark at one of the clinics, like the AIDS clinics. Because my mom was there trying to help out as well, and also showing us a different side of life. You know what I mean? Where the grass ain't as green, and to appreciate what you have, but also not only that, to help people in need. And that's literally what my mom does. That's what she's been doing, and she did that with us. She literally did that with us to the core of her own self. You know what I mean? In spite of her having a good times, here and there. You not slick, mom. We on you. We been on you. But um, seriously though, she's a walking, living, breathing inspiration. You know what I mean? And even for her to be a African American female that's a cop, that's a state trooper from New Jersey. That's a huge feat, man. That's a huge feat in a field that's dominated by white males. You know what I mean? She's literally on the exact opposite spectrum of that. And not only that, my mom is right now um a sergeant. You know what I mean? She's a sergeant in the state police. At this point, she put in 19 years, going on 20. She planned on maxing out. And throughout the years, you know what I mean, my mom um, has showed me what respect mean. My mom has showed me, how to respect people around you. My mom showed me how to respect women. My mom showed me like so many things. Opening a freaking bank account, about saving, about handling your finances, about being responsible. And that's coming from talking, like, my mom would be the first person to tell you that I'm pretty reckless. I am pretty reckless. I'm low key still reckless to this day. I am, but it's for the right reasons. You know what I'm saying? Not like before, where I was risking it for the biscuit just cause. You know what I mean? But this is about to be, I guess, a segue from my mom to the other mothers that was present in my life still to this day, that took me in as their own. Now, quick story time. This was probably like 2 days after I graduated high school. I was This is like my third, fourth day at Dollar Tree. I was working there from 5 a.m. to 2 p.m. Monday through Friday. Didn't want this shit at all. But at the time, my mom husband pretty much threw the application to me, and they forced me to work there, and I didn't. I wanted to enjoy my summer. Last summer, you know what I mean? Before I go off to college, I wanted to really enjoy my summer. And I remember this one particular morning, I did not feel like going. So what I did was I had the little green stupid Dollar Tree shirt, and at at my house we had a washer and dryer, and I didn't use it. I put water on the shirt, and I tried to say my shirt was wet, so I had to wait for it to dry. And what my dumbass decided to do was put it over the air conditioner and have it dry that way instead of just going downstairs and throwing it into the dryer. So my mom knocked on my door, and she was like, "Daryl, you still here?" She's always on top of everything. But she was like, "You still here?" And I'm like, yeah, 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 yeah. My shirt wet. I had to wait for it to dry. And 10 minutes go by. "Daryl, you still here?" Knocking on the door. I'm like, "Yeah, my shirt's still wet." And at this point, my mom's getting real fed up. And 15 minutes go by. I mean, and she tells me, like, if you don't leave, we're going to have a problem. You know what I mean? So I didn't leave. So she comes banging on the door. Boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, what? Like, come on, man. Like, doing the most. And this is like, one of those points where she was definitely getting fed up with me, but also there's a lot of changes in both of our lives that was like going on. That was pretty freaking drastic. And I told her that I wasn't going. And she said that I'm not going to be in here taking care of a grown man. So if you don't decide that you're not going to work, you can't stay here. So me being the person that I am, it was like, okay then, I am out. Deuces. See you later. Sayonara. And I remember when I'm at the top of the steps, she's at the bottom of the steps. I remember it being around like 6 o'clock in the morning, and my mom asked for the keys. And I had the keys in my hand, and I threw it at her. I threw the keys at her from downstairs, and she was so surprised, and she was so shocked. Like, did this boy really just do that? And I left. And I was gone for pretty much that entire summer until it was like close for me to go to school. You know what I mean? I was. This is the first time of me living being a road warrior at 18, and this is when My friends and my most importantly my friends' moms, like they helped me out like tremendously. And after that incident, the first person I walked to my boy, still to this day, like my brother, uh, Todd, real real cool man. Like that is literally the homie. That's the brother. But I went over to his house and Miss Tara, shout out to her. Looked out for me throughout the years like crazy. But yeah, shout out to Miss Tara, shout out to Craig. But they took me in, and um, Miss Tara, she took me in as if I was one of her own. She loved me as if I was one of her own, and still to this day, I look at her like I said this in a previous podcast, and this is not the be under I underestimated is not the word that I'm looking for, but underappreciated that, the amount of like, love that I have for, my friends like moms, man, and how I look to them as a mom. And I'm truly blessed to say that, that I have multiple mom like figures in my life, and also to my stepmom as well, Vanessa, who literally, you know what I mean, feed us like galore, like, you know what I mean, also take care of us, you know even, it's times where throw a couple of dollars at me and my brother, you know what I mean, just growing up. And it's pretty cool that with my little brothers and sisters, like, you know what I mean, because once my dad and my mom separated, um that's when my stepmom Vanessa got into the equation, and they started their own family, which me and my brother are a part of, with my two other brothers, D Mac Money, Donovan, and Devin, and big sis and little sis, Denasia and Deanna, um, who, I talk about all the time. They like my main source of inspiration and my main motivations, but it came through Vanessa. So if you ever end up watching this or see this, just know that I got tremendous love for you, and I hope they treating you right today. I hope they treating you right today. But yeah, going back to Miss Tara, shout out to her and happy Mother's Day to you as well. Love you greatly, Miss Olivia. I gave you a shout out in a previous podcast, but also to you as well. You look at me like a son, you know what I mean? And open invitation to your house, man. Um, the food, like literally everything across the board. And how much you care for your own boys, with Brad and Steve. Um, I'm really, really appreciate everything that you did for me personally. I can't speak on them, but personally, thank you, and also Mrs. Enoch, and shout out to my bro Joe too. When I didn't really have a place to stay, and they took me in as well and took great care of me. Shout out to Mr. Enoch, and happy Mother's Day to you too as well, Mrs. Enoch. Like, I try to always tell them from here and there, like the amount of appreciation and love that I got for them. Try to convey it as best as possible. With me not really being I can't call myself an emotional dude. I'm not really that emotional, to be quite honest. But I do feel things deeply, and all of the people that I just named was there for me when I was down and out and didn't have legit anything, a job, money, riding a bike in the middle of the winter, stuff like that, which was provided to me, through Miss Tara and Craig's bike. So thank you guys, and happy Mother's Day, most importantly, to all the beautiful women that I just named, and not only that, all the mothers that's out there that's listening that right now, and that might be watching. Um, You guys are very, very important to the development of the next generation that comes after us. And, you know, from from a son's perspective, the nurturing, the love, the care, the attention, the dedication, it's not overlooked. It's very much appreciated. And, going back to my mom in general, you taught me all of these things and showed me a lot, that growing up I really wasn't appreciative of. And when it's all said and done, you better not say I didn't appreciate you. Better not say it. Nah, but nah, seriously though. Happy Mother's Day to you. I love you to death, and I appreciate everything greatly. You know, you good. I'm pretty much at the end of it right now. Special cameo from from Errol, my mom's husband. You know what I mean? Yeah, shout out to the yeah, another shout out, man. This is his first cameo. So I know you guys hear him in the background, but at the end of the day, to all the moms that's out there that's doing their things, man. You guys are serving your purpose. Dag, now my phone's going off. You're serving your purpose. You're doing what you have to do, and for that, you're much loved and you're much appreciated. Uh, Thank you guys for tuning in yet again to another Purpose Served podcast episode, and happy Mother's Day to all of the beautiful mothers that's out there doing what they got to do. I'm out. Last but not least, deuces.